Silicon Valley, technology, art, green, and sustainability.
Welcome to another episode of Silicon Valley Tech, Art, Green, and Sustainability, SVTAGS. Today I have with me a lady who I'm just so honored that you came out from where you, we're going to tell everybody where you came out from. It's Sally Assante. You're a writer. You've had many hats. Welcome, and tell us a little bit about yourself, Sally.
Well, thank you, Heather. I'm delighted to be here. Currently, I live in the central mountains of Mexico, the Sierra Madres, in a little town called Ajijic, which is on Lake Chapala. And I have flown up here this weekend directly from Guadalajara. It's very near Guadalajara.
About 20 minutes or so?
It's a little longer than that, but that's only because of traffic.
Okay.
To get to Guadalajara, we have probably about a half hour, 40 minutes.
And over, I think it's 1.5 million or more than that in Guadalajara, so it's huge.
Yeah, it's a large city. It's the second largest city in Mexico, behind obviously Mexico City. And probably in the greater Guadalajara area, it's larger than 1.5 million.
And from what I understand, and we may be visiting there to do a show, it's the tech capital of Mexico.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So it's where all the tech stuff happens. I'm going to pull up the first slide, which is an adorable slide of you.
Okay.
And there you are when you were a young girl.
Yes.
How old were you there?
I think about 3.
Okay. And then I pulled up, where did you say you grew up in the coast?
On the Gulf Coast of Alabama.
So I just kind of Googled, and those were some pictures that came up, and
Okay.
It's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
I've driven, we can pull that down. I've driven through, from Texas to New Orleans,
Yep.
and then down to Pensacola, Florida, and the coast is just so beautiful. I
It
haven't
is.
been there since Katrina, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But
Okay.
tell us a little bit about your background and what did you go to school for? Where are you
Well,
from?
that's, like I said, I grew up in the Mobile, Alabama area, and after that, my family moved to New Orleans.
And you got married young?
Get married young, had my children young, and then we moved to my family moved to the West Coast. We moved to Los Angeles. That was a time period where the men had to serve in the military, and my husband had gone through ROTC at Tulane, and so he had to serve his 3 years, and we came out to California at that time, loved it.
And for people that don't know, Tulane, is that in New Orleans?
That's in New Orleans.
Okay.
It's a private university in New Orleans.
It's supposed to be one of the best.
It's a good school, a very good school, enjoys a very nice reputation. But when we came out to California, Southern California, by then my girls were getting to school age, and we liked the schools a lot, and so we stayed. Even after he was out of the military, we stayed on for a number of years. And then eventually we kind of wanderers, we made our way to Central Texas, the Austin area, and my children continued. The girls by then were starting to get a little bit older. By the time they were in middle school, and I had always been a stay-at-home mom. And we made the decision that I would go to school, and I wanted to. I had never gone through college, just taken courses here and there, but not a real dedicated program. And I decided to become a court reporter. So I started the court reporting school.
And that was in Austin?
That's where I started, was in Austin, Texas. And it's about a 3-year program, but I was in a hurry, which is kind of the way I live my life. And so I got through in about 2 years.
So, and now, so you're retired.
I'm retired. I continued that career for around 25, 28 years.
And I'm going to hold this up. I don't know if we can get a close-up of this. This is your new book.
Yes.
And so this is your first book. You're writing another one, and
Yes.
it's called Bycatch. Am I pronouncing that right?
That's correct.
And it's, the definition at the beginning says things that are caught in the net of the fishermen.
Yes.
That aren't really supposed to be what they're catching.
Exactly.
And that's kind of the theme of the book, and we can talk about that a little bit. But let's bring up the first slide. And this first slide, or second slide, excuse me, that's you in front of?
That's in front of the Peace Palace in The Hague, One summer, I think it was the summer of 1991, if I'm not mistaken.
And that was before you moved to Rwanda or to
Yes,
Tanzania?
that was before that.
Then the left side, and so you traveled the world to be a court reporter. The left or the right side, what is on the right side there?
On the right and the top are both of those pictures are taken from a safari lodge in Arusha, Tanzania, right outside Arusha. And it's called Tarangire Lodge, and I went there on a frequent basis.
And in your book, you kind of talk
and
about it a little
I
bit.
make reference to it in the book.
And the book it's a mixture of fiction and reality, and it has a love story, but it also talks about the genocide in Rwanda. And at first it's a little hard to read at first because of what happens, but the love story makes you want to keep going and then see what happens, and it's just a great book.
Well, thank you.
So what brought you there? Again, this is a little fiction, but there's a little reality mixed in.
Well, it certainly is. It's a novel, and so therefore, by definition, it's fiction. But it does incorporate true events. And I was court reporting at the time, and most of my career was in federal court, different cities in Miami and New Orleans and Southern California. But I saw an advertisement in our trade magazine for a position with the UN, with the United Nations, in East Africa, in the country of Tanzania.
And at that time you were not married?
No, I was single by then.
So, hey, travel and...
Take off you go. And so I was very attracted to the job and applied for it and felt very fortunate that I was asked to come. And then once I was there, I was asked to be the supervisor of these. There were 17 court reporters, both French and English languages, because the UN uses both languages officially. All of their proceedings and documents are in both languages.
So let's pull up another slide, and I'm not sure if this is the one it does. So tell us about the one on the bottom part. Are those the court reporters on one side?
No, what you see there is you're viewing the courtroom from the spectator section.
Okay.
And there is a wall of glass. It's bulletproof
I was gonna
glass.
ask, so that's bulletproof. Okay.
And so those people we see on the right-hand corner, those are spectators looking into the courtroom. And in there we have, you see a little bit of red. That's the robes that the tribunal.
In the back, yep.
It's 3 judges.
And the top, tell us what that is, because you see it in the back too. The logo on the right top, the tribunal.
Okay, on the right-hand side, all of the UN divisions or departments have their own logos.
Okay.
And the logo there with the scales of justice, that logo was designed by an African American, actually, who was also part of the ICTR, the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda.
So that was specifically for that. And the top one is part of a memorial that we'll see on another side. We can pull that down. But basically over a million people?
Close to 1 million. They don't have exact numbers, Heather.
Close to 1 million people passed away.
They were killed.
In the genocide.
Yes.
And over 100,000 were jailed.
Over 125,000 what we call random killers were jailed and tried in Rwanda. The UN chose to charge only the people they considered the masterminds or the architects of the genocide. So where I was working was not in Rwanda, it was in Tanzania, and we were trying only those 93.
We're going to pull up another slide right now. This should be slide 4. And so this is you.
That's me.
And did I get the place wrong though?
Yeah, well, that was in Tanzania.
Tanzania, not
right.
Rwanda.
I was out on a safari.
And it's, how do you say that, Masai?
The Maasai.
And around 1990s, 95, 94?
I was there from 97 to 99.
Okay, and they're wearing red, and that's specific to their...
That's customary for them. Those red cloaks that they wear are called shukas.
Shukas, okay. And we pull that down. So again, it's based on some reality, some fiction, the book, and it's a page turner. Once you get going, you can't put it down.
Thank you.
We're going to pull up another slide because I'm a little bit behind. We're going to pull up slide 5, I believe. This is part to the other one that we saw earlier, where again it's a memorial.
That is, they have established several memorials throughout the country of Rwanda because it was a huge event for the country, obviously. and they have created these memorials out of respect for the victims.
And this is a church here.
The one on the lower left is a church, the scene of a church. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 5,000 people were killed in that church.
Okay.